understand the one of the important topic, and that is object-oriented programming. So our agenda for today's session is object-oriented programming, and then we are going to understand the difference between the classes and object. It is under the topic OOPS itself. We'll also understand what the constructor is, how to write a constructor. This all thing we'll be doing it practically. Then we'll understand the difference between object variable and the class variable. Then we'll see the local variable and global variable difference also. When to is object variable, when to is class variable, when to is local variable, all these things we'll understand in this session. Then we'll do some more hands-on using the inheritance. Understand what the inheritance is, the different types of inheritance, the differences between the overloading and overriding, how to override and how to use super keyword. Once you override, can I access the parent class method? That all thing you are going to see with practical. Somewhat about object programming like encapsulation. How do you encapsulate data in the Python? How do you hide the data? Do we have method like a private, protected, those kind of method in the Python? All these things you are going to see with the hands-on session again. If the time permit, I would also like to cover the topic like module, maybe the quick idea about the models. And in the object programming topic itself, we'll try to develop one application, and that application will be the bank application. We'll also see like if the time is there, then we'll try to write certain exception and see how to handle the exception. And if the time permit again, like file handling also, some example I will try to take it. So all these topic I added just like as a bonus topic, although in my agenda, the file handling, accession handling, as well as module topic was not there. But I thought like if the time permit, at least I should give a quick idea about all this topic also. And obviously in case, and lastly, once we already know this topic, I will try to cover some application discussion. We'll have discussion at the end, like what are application you can develop. Already I have discussed certain application yesterday. And also you can have queries on the careers, what all careers are there, where is a career in the Python, all that thing can be discussed at the end of the session only. So now the first thing first here, and that is what is object oriented, what is actually object means, and what is class means in the Python. So this is first agenda. Yesterday I have given you a quick idea about Python, and I say like in Python case that everything is object, and that's why it is very important for all of us to know what is object and what is class now. When you say class, as I say, even you can see in this diagram that class is a blueprint, and I discussed this yesterday in the session also, the blueprint. So what blueprint include now? You can have some methods, you can have some data, and you encapsulate together. That is what we say class. Whereas the real thing object, the object could be the car. So that is what we say. The car itself is like maybe the Alto or whichever the car you say is an object. Somewhat more example to understand like how you can classify the class and the object here. So once you design the class, you can have the various types of object. Then you can have the car with a different color like green colors or red colors or blue colors, and you can have different car also. So this is because of you have certain design. Now you can apply this design to whichever the car you would like to whichever car you would like to apply it now. So this is the way there is a relationship between the class and the object now. So here when you say oops, there are many more concepts are there like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, attributes, method, class, but all these things I'll be trying to cover with the hands-on only. So let me start with a jump start with the hands-on session. I hope most of the guys must have already connected now. So let me start the hands-on session now. So here I'll be covering the topic with the help of Anaconda now. So here I'm going to start with the Anaconda, and we'll start writing the class here. So class, I'm starting with the hands-on like here that class bank. Let us start with the like a class bank here. Now when you say bank, bank is the name of the class. You can have the class name as a car also. You can have the class name as a anything you want to design. Maybe a classroom, maybe the teacher, maybe the students. You like to have the class of anything. You can have the class of institute, you can have the class of classroom itself, you can have class of teacher. It is your choice. It is you decide what do you want. So now here this is a very generic example like bank. In the bank example, we can write the bank related data here now. So what bank related data? Because most of you guys already having the bank account. So we already know about the bank, what the bank include, what attribute bank you can have. So based on that, we can design the class bank itself. I'm telling you every line I'll explain you like the how the class should be written, what should be the class name. So always follow certain rules of writing the class name also. Whenever you're writing the class name, write with a capitalize. Capitalize means like a camel case, you can say. Now here there's a bank app, let's say. So you can write bank app. So here capitalize means here B is capital and A is capital. And you are combining together, that is what bank. Here we also call camel case. Camel case means what? We have a B as a capital and A as a capital. So this is the way the class name should be written. Never ever write the class name as a lowercase letter. These are my recommendation. Please remember these, like whenever you write a class name, write as a capitalize only. Use a format like camel case. So these are the format. Although Python will not tell you the error. See, let me tell you, Python will accept the class name as it is. But we should follow the best practices so that we are not facing any challenges in the case of application development. So write the class name and then let us start the block of the class now. Here class and the class name, the block started here. When you say colon, the block of the class started. After that, next thing is write something about the class. What the class, whatever thing you like to write. Let's say this is a bank application class now. Bank application class. So I'm describing or writing certain information about the class in the triple quote string here. What is the significance of it? If you write in a triple quote string, you can have multiple line string here, and you're telling to the user that this is what I'm trying to do in the bank application class here. And then you can write what? You can write certain method here. Now, but then let me tell you, in the case of Python, even you don't write the method, even you don't write anything, still you can create an object. Why? Because in the case of Python, even class is object. So let us see. Let us test it. So before we write further thing, let us test the empty bank class, bank application class itself. So I'm going to write, say, bank name maybe HDFC here as object name, and write the bank app as a class name. And you have to call the class name as a function. The way you call the function, same way you can call the bank application class name here. And now test it. How does it work? Can you print it now? And if it works, it means in the Python case, you are allowed to write even the empty class. How it is possible? In other programming language, you remember, like if you are writing the class, you need to write certain methods or constructor method and all this thing, you need to write it, and then only you can get object. But that is not the case in the Python. Why? Because in the Python case, there is a built-in method already available, and that method is a constructor method which is built in there that I am going to override now, and that is an init method. How do you know that there is an init method available? So let me show you the detail of that. So look at the HDFC, which is the object we just now created, and that's the object of the bank application. Now let us have the detail about this. What you see, there are various already attributes available. Now these attributes I have not defined, but they are already there. Why? Because these are inherited from the superclass, and that is object. So let me tell you, in the case of Python, object-oriented programming is different as compared to the other programming language like Java, C++, and whichever the programming language you see. Remember, Python is object-oriented scripting language. It is more high level than the object-oriented programming language. When you say more high level means what? More high level means here it is more English oriented, more natural. It is not, we are not going to deep up the can say the hardware part or understanding the computer peripheral here. So here we directly jump start with the application, and here we talk more about business. As I said yesterday, that it's an expressive language. So where whatever the business you like to do, whatever the software you like to build, here the focus is to build the software here. Okay, so let us understand this part, that how we can create the bank application. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Right, please mute yourself in case you just join. Right, so now let us add some more thing here. Here I'm going to write a method. I will not write a constructor method immediately. That we will write it later on. Let us have a simple test method here. Here I'm saying the info method. Let us see what happens when I write a info as a function and how does it respond. How this part, because this is an interactive language. As this language is interactive, you will see the difference now. What difference you will see now in this case? The difference is like in this case, whatever you try, you get immediate response now. So here I'm trying something new. I'm saying this is the info method, and here I'm just writing the a print statement. So welcome to bank information. Right? This is the way the info method is written now. And let us try to access it now. What happened? We are going to check it. Usually we do that way, this way only, right? And see the result. What you see, there is a one error. And this is very important to note, that whenever you are trying to write something empty method without any parameter, oh, there is a danger outside right now. Right. Let's see whether there is this power will continue or not. Otherwise, we'll require to reschedule the session. Till the time the things are working, the network is working, we'll continue. If there's a challenge, we will require to reschedule the session then. Okay. So here we are trying to create an object and trying to access the method here. That is the bank application method. So how do you check, like, what is the challenge here? You can see it is showing like info takes 0 positional argument, but 1 was given. Where we are given, we are not given anything. But in the Python case, what happened? It always assumes that you are passing one argument. So which is the argument is passed by the class itself. So that first argument we call self here. And this is passed by the class itself. So let us test it now. Here is saying that welcome to bank information, right? Now let us try to understand what I have written now. Here I return the class name, I return the one method info, and there's a first parameter which I return self. So what the self is here? So self is, let me write about the self here. Self is like a reference. Self is reference to the instance of a class. I'm writing it so that you can understand what the self is. So it's a reference. So for all that instance, you will see self is there. With the help of self, you can access the class data. So that's why I say it's a object reference also. So if you would like to access some data from the class using the object, you need to have the self here. Now how you are going to use it? Let us say the bank is having some name now. I'm just passing one argument here. Now, if you want to print the bank name, you can simply say bank name is %s and just say percentage name. This is a local variable now. Name is a local variable and I'm just printing it. So let us see how does it work now. Firstly, when I'm passing argument, it is asking me, and I'm purposefully showing you the error also. Understand, whenever you are passing argument, you have to pass it now. It is asking only one argument, not two argument, because first argument self is already passed. Now what the argument I should be passing now here in the info case? It should be the name. So it is like HDFC Bank. Let's say HDFC Bank. This is the name of the bank itself. And let us test it now. Working? Fine. So it is saying that welcome to bank name is HDFC Bank. So what is the argument you have passed now? It is just working here now. Now let us see, like, can I access this local variable, that is a name, using this object HDFC? Let us test it now. HDFC is object now, trying to access name, and we'll try to print it now. What do you see here? it says that bank application object has no attribute name. So remember here now, you cannot access local variable using the object. This you can see it also, but you can access object variable. Now how to define object variable? To define object variable, you need to use a self now. Using the self, you can create object variable. Let us say self.name and provide the value from the local variable, whichever you are passing it. So here this becomes the object variable. Self.name is an object variable. Right? Now, can I access this name now? Test it. Yes, you can. Understand now what the self is doing. Self is a reference to the all the data members, whichever they are in the class, as well as to the method. Anything you want to access, you need to have a self. Self is not a keyword, but it is a reference to your instance of a class now. So now you can see now I'm able to access the attribute, which is an object variable attribute, and previously I was not able to access it. Which are what are the other way you can access the attribute which are defined inside the class? See, either you can access the object variable, or you can access the class variable, or you can access the global variable. Global variables are available to everyone. So you do not require to worry about the global variable. You can write it here itself. Let's say you want to declare the global variable now. You can use a keyword called global. And whichever the variable you like to, let's say you want to broadcast something or like to share to everyone. So you like to say, okay, bank name is already fine, but location, let's say I want to say location. Location is a, let's say, global variable. And I would like to share to everyone. So in that case, I can declare this global and location. So what will happen in this case? Location will become the global variable. So let us see like how to use this location now. Location is, let's say, Pune. I'm passing value here, Pune. And let us try to print now. Can I print the location now, which is defined inside the class? Okay. So mostly what happened, local variable you cannot access, but global variable, see what happened. You can see the location now, right? So let me tell you here the differences. I have now tried to explain the types of variable. The first I have shown is local variable, which was not accessible outside the class. It is only available, like you can call it, but by using the method like info, you were able to access it, because info was a method which is having the object method, you can say. So you can access it now because there is a self already defined now. Whereas when you look at when you just try to access the name without writing the self, it was not accessible. But when you declare the self.name, then we were able to access the name. So that's why SDFC.name, as we return the object variable. Then I say, like, you can also access without even declaring the self.name, but that is a global variable. Let me tell you, global variable is little bit risky to write. Why? Because it is like, this is a variable is only when you use it when you want to share to everyone. Means it is available to all other classes also. So remember, like, you try to avoid using the global keyword. Only when you want to share to everyone, then only use a global declaration of the variable. Otherwise, use a object variable only. I will recommend to use a object variable whenever you like to share the data to the object, and only the inherited classes only. So that time you can use a object variable. So I hope you are clear. This is like how to declare the global variable. I'll be asking the question to you later on, like what is the difference between the local variable and global variable, which particular variable can be accessed and how you can access all these things. You should know it. I hope you know the difference between the local variable, global variable, object variable. The third variable which I like to say here is a class variable. Now the variable which is defined below the class name, we name as a class variable. Now here, let us say the bank is having the IFSC code. IFSC code is a unique for all the bank branches, right? So here I'm declaring the IFSC, and IFSC is a unique code. and let us say that it is starting with a 0 now. See, this class variable is written below the class name. So I'm writing the class variable here. Remember, class variable should be written below the class name only, not inside the method. And the benefit of writing the class variable is like you can share to all the methods. This is a variable you can share to all the variable, and not only that, you can also access using the class name now. See, object variable is accessible to only object, but class variable is available to the object as well as to the class now. That's the significance of writing the class variable. But again, we should not writing be all the class variable. Only those variable which you like to share to the all the methods, and it should be unique now. It's like a static variable in some other language, like in Java you have a static variable. Same way here there is a class variable now. Now how do we use it? I'll be using this class variable in the method constructor itself. So right now I did not write any constructor method, but there I'll be using it, and I will see like how you can use a class variable in your application development. So let me write this code once again with a constructor now. Now let me write a constructor method now. def, how do you write constructor method here? You can write constructor method by def double underscore in the beginning, then init, and first parameter is self. Now you can pass the argument to this class. Now what is this constructor method? Constructor method is something to initialize the class now. Now we would like to initialize the bank application class now. How to pass the parameter to the class? You can pass the parameter to the class by the constructor method. So here you can write the first parameter is, let's say, a name. Then you like to, let's say, add something more, like for the bank you may have branch now. What else you can have for the bank? You have branch, you may have city. So I'm just passing 2 to 3 parameters so that you understand, okay, what all parameter you can pass it to the constructor method itself. Now the other parameter, like how you write a function, here we're writing the method here and passing the parameter now. Again, remember the indentation. Every time I'm writing the code like colon, after that there is a tab, and it is under the, it is very neatly written. You can see the code is very much readable. That's what the way the Python code should be written. You have to be very much careful, like where to write what method, how it should be indented. So be careful while typing the Python script now. Now here I'm writing that this is to initialize triple costing. Triple costing, you can just say initialize bank application class. This is what our objective is. Let us test this before we even write detail about it. You can test it every line here. That's the beauty of Python here now. Every line you want to try it out, you can test it, and you don't require to worry about the bug in that case. Just write one line, test it, whether it is working. Any syntax error is there, you can just check it here. So initialization, initialize your bank app, or you can say initialize a bank app class. And we are going to test it now. So initialize, you can write Z or fine. So now let us test it. One thing is different in the constructor method and the other method which are there, that constructor method get called automatically. Now if I try to execute without passing any parameter, see what happened now. Let us test it. Let us see the error. Every time you modify the code, check the error and then try to debug the code so that you learn the debugging also. Don't try to write the entire code and then debug. That way you won't learn. So if you want to learn the Python, write 1 or 2 lines and then run it. And this Anaconda is one of the best tool to check each and every line. It's a very interactive tool. You can see like I'm using this notebook and I can write all the codes in a notebook itself and check it in one cell itself. Now here I'm just testing it before writing any parameter. See what happened, and let us see the error now. What error you see here? Type error. And in the type error, it says that init missing 3 required positional argument. So it is giving us a hint now that you need to pass the argument, that is a name, branch, and city. See, Python is so interactive that it is telling you what to do also. You already pass the argument to the init, and you can see like here, I don't need to call the init method. Automatically, when you create an object, this init method get called. So constructor method, whenever you are writing in your class, it is like overriding the existing constructor method. By default, every class is having the constructor method. You do not require to write also. But in case you want to override it, then yes. So let me here, constructor method is not mandatory in the Python because it is already there, even you don't write it. So default constructor method is a init, and what I did here is I just override that method. Now here, what is expected? Already the given hint, like you need to pass the argument, and that too to the class. So self, there's a name, branch, and city. So I'll be passing now here name, HDFC Bank. Then what we are say is a branch. Let's say Kothur branch here, and then city, let's say Pune. Fine. Let us test it once again. See what happened. Okay, so what we can see that it is working fine. There's no error, but we are not able to see what the bank name is, what the branch name is, because we did not write any print statement now. So what I will do now this time, instead of printing in the init, I will print in the case of info method, because and then we'll see what happened. Okay, so now you know the differences between the object variable and class variable. Okay, what I will do here, I will write a print statement first, and then I will show the differences between the object variable and the local variable again. One more time, so you are going to test it now. So either use a single quote or double quote for printing statement. So let's say your name, so bank name is %s, then branch %s, then you have city %s. So why %s? Because I would like to pass a string argument. So if you want to pass the string argument, use a %s. If you like to pass the decimal number, for that we have a %d here. Let us use this. So here you are going to have a, okay, now I'm just passing the local variable like name, branch, and city. Name, branch, and city. Now these are the variable, name, branch, and city. All three are local variable. We just pass it. Let us test it now. What happened in the what the result? We have to test it now. Let us check the result now. Is saying bank name is HDFC Bank, branch is Kothur, and city is Pune. Perfect. So you are getting the expected result now. No exception as of now. So there's no problem. So let us now, it is tested well now. So can I print now same thing in the info method? Let me copy this and print it. So can I share this here? Let us test it now. And let us see the error. What say that name branch is not defined. See, here in the case of constructor method, the branch city, let me tell you here, name, branch, and city, all three are local variable. They are not object variable. And as a result, they are not available to any other method now. So if you want to make this variable name, branch, and city to other method, you will require to define what? Object variable. As just now we discussed, like if you want to share certain attribute to other methods, you need to define object variable. I hope it is clear that when to define object variable, when to define local variable, when to define global variable. All these are very, very important, because in the case of Python, we need to understand these differences between this type of variable only, because we don't use here the keyword like private, public, and protected. This kind of keyword we don't use it here. Like in the Java, everywhere you want to write, okay, this is a private data, this is a protected data, this is a like a public data, and if it is a public, then it is available. If not available. So this is like we need to tell everywhere. Here Python, you did not require to tell that this is a public property or this is a private property. Nothing you require to say. Python understand that what the way you write your script, based on that interpreter it understand it. So manually you don't require to say it. You just need to mention, okay, this is the data which is available to the class, this is the data available to the object, this is a specific type of data available to everyone. You need to write a script in a specific way now. So understand the syntax here. The way the syntax should be just by simply mentioning the object variable or class variable, or you can say making the data as a public data as a global variable. So let us make it now. How does it work? Next step we'll be understanding. So how to share now? Let us, I'm just deleting this first print statement, and now I'm declaring all the variable with the help of self now to share. So this will become the object variable. So name here, then we have a self dot branch, and then self dot city. Now we can just remove this line. It is not needed because I want to share to info method. I don't want to here. I just want to declare here, and here I would like to print now and see what happened. Again, info method name is not required now because already we have declared the name now. So this I can remove now. So these are all things which were there in the previous topic. I'm just removing any additional thing from here. So yeah, even I will remove this comment now. Location Pune, not needed now. Right. Again, the additional information I'm just removing to just avoid the confusion, because I don't want you to see so many things, and understand only the important point here, that how I have declared the object variable. Here these variables are object variable now because I have declared with the help of self now. The first parameter is self, and now you can see how does it work. Let us test it. Again, I'm removing this because here there will be error again. I have to just say sdfc.info. You don't require to pass any parameter. See the result. Okay, name is not defined. Where I'm using the name now. Okay, right. Remember now, I have declared self.name. Self.name is available, but name is not available now. Name is a local variable. So what should I do now here? Write a self.name. Then write a self.branch. And let me show you another line now. Self.city here. So see how does it work? Great. Now it is giving the output. Bank name is HDFC Bank, branch is Kothur, city is Pune. So this is the way you can share your object variable to other method. I hope it is clear to you how to declare object variable. Now we will understand class variable. How to use a class variable. So three variable we already understood now, that is a local variable, object variable, as well as global variable. The fourth one is a class variable. How to use it. Now for every bank, what we want that there should be unique code, and that unique code is a IFSC code right now. So how to declare unique code? Let me show it here. So I'm going to use here bank. With the help of bank, class only I'll be modifying now. So because the class variable is available to the class name also, and you should be doing the modification using the class name only. So let us write a bank app dot, what is the name of the variable now? It's a IFSC. So call it IFSC plus equal to 1. Will it going to work? Let us test it. So bank app, I'm calling the IFSC. I'm saying that I'm incrementing now. What I want that for every bank, there should be unique IFSC code. And that's why what I'm doing here, this variable value, I would like to auto increment. As soon as I create an object, for every object, there should be an auto increment. Let us test it with a print statement also. Print IFSC code and percentage, let's say, for the SDFC, I'll write or something like SDFC 001 or 00 and then percentage D, because this is a, now why I'm saying percentage D here, because this is a digit value, right, decimal value. So print it by, okay, while accessing you can access by the self also, and you can also access by the class name. So it's your choice now. Percentage bank app is a class name dot ifsc. So yes, it's your choice. So I'm using the class name itself, and let us test it once again. Any error? Let us check it. Great, no error at all. But what we see, there's only one Unicode ifsc right now. We like to test it for multiple classes, because once you have class design, now as I say, class is like a design part. Now once you have design, with the help of this design, you can create many more objects. So now let us create a multiple object. Let us have more branches now. Your class is ready. Let us create a multiple branches of the branches of your bank also. And that is possible by creating the multiple object. So let us apply this design to create a multiple branches now. Now here I'm going to create a multiple branches. I have now Kothul branch. I will have some other branches also. So SDFC 1, SDFC 2. So you have a, let's say, Warje branch. You have something like a, what is branch you can have? You may have something like a, in Pune itself I'm taking here, okay, PCMC branch or some other branch, you can look at it. And these are the branches. I'm just saying the city name is same, the bank is same, the only change is a branch. So just adding that. Okay, this is fine, it's just the name. You can decide. So let us test it once again. What happened? You can observe here that every bank is having unique IFSC code. And you can see the various branch now, Kothur, Warje, PCMC, and maybe you may have some other branches now. That's the significance of class. Class allows you to create various objects. You define once, and then there is a reusability here. So what is the significance of object-oriented programming? One thing is like it encapsulates the data and method together. Second thing is it has another properties which we'll be using also, that is a reusability, and that is where the topic come inheritance now. I hope you understood the basic here about the object-oriented programming. I just try to clear here. Again, I'm summarizing here for all of you guys, those who joined late, that what I started is writing the class bank name, and then I say like, you know, how the name should be. So we have to follow the naming convention. I say like use a camel case. Camel case means B is capital, A is capital in this case. Use the same naming convention for writing the class name, and then colon, that way the class block started. After that, you can write certain document about your class name. So you can say that this is a class name, for the purposes of this is to develop the application. So bank application class now. After that, obviously I started writing the other method, like I wrote the info method first, and then now after that I wrote the init method also. Init method is for initializing the bank application class. Info is a method which is just like one of the object method. You can call it now by using the object itself. Now you can see we also discuss about the difference between the local variable, global variable, object variable, and now we are just finished. We have taken the example of class variable also. One more thing I like to tell you, like class variable is available to both. It is available to the object as well as to the class also. So let me show you the demonstration that with the help of this, any object you take it, let's say SDFC2, and try to access IFSC now and see what happened. We have declared this IFSC as a class variable. So can I access IFSC variable using the object? Answer is yes, you can. Okay, so remember, when you declare class variable is available to object as well as to the class. Can I access by the class name? Yes, why not? Write it. Let us test it now here. Right here, bank. This is the bank app, right? This is a class name, and then access it. So class variable you can access by class name as well as by the object name. Whereas object variable, if you try, let us try one more demonstration here. That can I access object variable which is declared as a name or city or something by the class name? Let us test it. Answer is no. It is giving you that bank app has no attribute name, whereas by object we already tested it is available. So object variable is available to only object, but class variable available to both, that is to object as well as to the class. And that's what the difference between the class variable and the object variable. I hope you guys, you must have understood the difference between the object variable and the class variable, as well as the difference between the local variable and the global variable. Now it's your choice, it's your design. Let me tell you, Python is not restricting you to use the special type of variable. That is your design. Python is giving you flexibility here, that you decide which variable you like to use as a class variable, which variable you should be designing, you'll be using as a object variable. So all this thing is your choice now. Now I hope you understood this all part, like constructor and the object variable, the object method. So we can go ahead with the next part, and that is inheritance. Now here I'm trying to cover first practical part, and then I'll come back to theory. What happened once I, let's say if I switch to theory, then it will be very difficult for me to come back to again practical. So that's what I'm trying to say, like, let us use a practical, and practically we'll try to understand most of the concept here. And as a summary only, I will be going back to the theory. So there's a bank application, and now, okay, let us comment this section, because this is all like for testing purpose I use it. How to inherit. As I said, this particular workshop, you're going to learn how to develop the bank application. So gradually I'm writing the code now, step by step, and trying to develop one small application using the object-oriented programming feature now. Now let's say you have bank app as a one class. Bank is having two more categories, and you can think about like customer here, and another category you can think about employee. So let us write one class that is a customer class. The first preference goes to the customer here, because bank is providing services to the customer. So let us think like, okay, now if you like to design the class customer, how to inherit the properties from the bank class to the customer class. That we are going to test it now. So let me write in another cell so that you can understand, like, this is available to other cell also by inheritance. Class customer, and you can decide, okay, you like to write a customer bank customer, you can add bank customer. Okay, that's fine. That's to just to understand that these are the bank customers, so you can say bank customer, so that by name also we can understand that what exactly you are trying to do. Let me tell you why I'm writing this kind of naming convention, because see, when you write your code, by name you should understand what you're doing. Whenever you're writing the variable name or object variable name, class variable name, if your name is clear, don't write ABC or XYZ. Those example, if you write it, you won't understand why you wrote the X, why you wrote the Y. XYZ doesn't signify, doesn't say anything. But when you write the specific name, like this is a variable for storing the name. This is a variable for storing the city. So let us write the specific name. Let us write the, even the class name by understanding, okay, now I'm saying bank customer. Even customer could have worked, but I say, okay, now because customer could be of any, not only for the bank, could be for some other classes. So I don't want to say that this particular customer belongs to some other classes, which could be the car class. Car may have customer, or maybe automobile class. No, I don't want to mention that. So here I'm very much specific now to say that this is a bank customer class. Now this bank customer class is here I'm going to do what? Inheritance now. How to inherit the properties of the bank application now. I just need to write the opening closing bracket and just say bank app now. This is what my class name. This is the class name. And now I'm writing bank app. I'm just saying the colon, and here I'm saying this is a customer, bank customer class. Bank customer class. Let us see and taste what happened after the inheritance. I did a very simple thing here, very much simple thing. Now let me tell you here, the bank customer is a child of bank application. Bank application become the what? Parent class. This is a one wording. Second way you can say bank customer is a subclass. Third way you can say bank customer is what? You say the child class, you say subclass, right? So these are all like a way to say the same thing. Now bank app become either parent or base class, right? Or you can say super class. So these are like various names. So here the parent class is bank app, or you can, and the bank customer is a child class. So what is child class means here? When you say child class is something where you have the properties from your parent now. So parent is already having certain properties, they work hard and they're having certain properties now. Now what the child benefit is, like what are the properties the parent has earned, parent would like to share to the child now. As a result, you get the benefit, right? That's why we say parent-child relationship between the class now. So here, let us see what all properties the parent is sharing to the child, and that is the child is here now, bank customer now. So here we will see what happened by default. By default, let me tell you that bank app, which is the parent, is giving everything to the child. By default, okay? By default, your parent is giving everything to the child. Let us see how does it work. So let us write here the another object. What I will do here, I will just write one of this object now, just to save the time. And this time I'm going to just testing, like, can I now create an object of this bank customer? Just doing that. So bank customer object. So I should check, like, is it going to work or not? Is the parent is giving the permission to access the, what are the attributes which are declared in the parent class? So child is having the permission or not? So let us check the SDFC. Okay, if you are confused with this, like I will say here, customer 1. Okay, and just saying the customer 1.info. I don't want you to confuse between the name. These are just name of the object. You can write whatever the name you want. Just to avoid the confusion, here I'm writing a new variable, and that is the object variable again. This is object here, that is a customer 1, which is object of bank customer now. And with this object, I'm trying to access all the attribute. Let us test it now. Wonderful. So bank app, who is the parent now, has given access to all the attributes which are declared, right? So you can see how the parents are. Parents are giving everything to the child, and the child is able to access by default. That's what the significance of inheritance. Here the inheritance is something where reusability. Property is there, the data is there, just reuse it. You don't require to again declare the same thing which is already there. But definitely child is also having something new thing to do, right? Why do we do reusability here? Why do we inherit? Because we want something to be taken from the parent, but then child would like to build their own property also. Child would like to make his own property. How the child can make his own property now? Child can make his own property by writing his own method, by writing his own data. So that we are going to write it now. So here I'm going to write another method, and that is by def, and say here the method name is cinfo. And in this case, first parameter again self, and then say cname, and seeing here customer name. customer info method. Info method. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to show here, that the child that is a bank customer is already having all the properties available now. In addition to that, obviously child will have his own name, child will class will have some other info also. So I'm using this name as a child because that's where it's very easy to relate. You can understand the properties like parent and child. These are the terminology which are very easy. Sometimes, instead of using the the subclass, superclass, because we get confused between those terminology. When you say use a base class, so most of you guys may not be like, what is a base class? So you don't require to now understand that, or derived class. So instead of using this word like base class and derived class, I'm using the word here right now and the terminology which is same. Like base means here there is a parent class, and derived class is the child class, right? So I'm saying here child class, and under the child class I'm using the method cinfo now. Now cinfo is having certain, say, like customer name now. So here I'm saying cname, which is the self.cname, and having the cname is a customer name now, and printing the customer name, percentage s, and then percentage self.cname. Let us test this child method now, that is bank customer, who is a child of bank app, and we are going to test this new method in addition to the methods which are already declared in the parent class. So here I'm going to do that part. Customer one dot cinfo. What is that? Cinfo. Okay, very good. That's what we should do it. Test it. Like what happened here now? It is saying the error that what is that? Missing one required position argument cname. Right. We did not pass till now, so we have to pass it. So what is the name? Maybe I'm the customer of the HDFC Bank. So I'm writing my name now here. Surendra is the customer name, and it has come now. You just pass it and you got the result now. So now this bank customer, who is a child of bank app, is having certain properties. What is that properties? Is having the parent properties which are already there. Along with that, he is having own method also, and is having his own name here, right? Customer name, not just the bank name. So we have the bank name also, and we have customer name also. Now here we can write many more parameter. It's not just like about the, so you can think about, okay, customer city, customer age, what is the parameter you want to pass it, that all thing you can do in the case of customer info also. Now this is about like how the by default the inheritance work here. I did not do any kind of overriding here. I just wrote a new method in this case. So this is very, very simple and straightforward inheritance in this case. So I can say it's a single inheritance because I just, access only one class here. I did not access more than one class. If I'm accessing more than one parent, then what happened? That also we are going to check it. But here, let us first finish this project itself. That in this project, we are trying to first access only one class now. And then we'll also try multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. I'll show the example, but not in the, because that if I try to show the example of all the types of inheritance, what will happen? We'll not able to finish this exercise then. So that's why I will show that example separately. Okay, so now here, let us try to understand another concept called overriding and overloading. So this was a part of inheritance now. So I'll just write the comment also. Insert cell above, and this was about inheritance. So let me write certain documents so that you understand what we are doing now. So here it was about the inheritance, and it was a single inheritance right now. Now in this case, let us see like, okay, what if I override the method? What happened? So how to override now? So that I will be doing in the next part. And here, okay, that's what I will say polymorphism. Polymorphism. What is polymorphism? So polymorphism, it has two things. One is overloading, the another is overriding. Here it is very, very important to understand in Python case, we always have overriding. We don't have user defined overloading available. Whereas in the language like Java, we have both types of polymorphism, and that is overloading and overriding. And there is a significance there. But in the Python case, what happened? We are always overriding. You are going to check it with practical. And why Python is having only overriding, that also I'll explain you. So here, let me show this as a heading and the remaining part of the document. What is overloading and what is overriding? Overloading, where you write a one method name and with a different parameter, and you can say, okay, that then object can differentiate between the method also by just having the different parameter to the method. But in the case of overriding, what happened? We have the same method name and then you have the same attribute. That is what the old definition I'm talking about, because that is that is applicable in the case of Java and other languages. So in the overriding, what happened? You just have the same parameter and you override the previous method now. But here there's a but. Why? In the Python case, even you try to do overloading, here it will be always overriding only. How? You are going to see with the demonstration. So this particular class, I'm going to continue here, but now in this case, the modification will be done. And what modification I'll be doing here? I'll just say info here instead of C info. So what happened when I write info method? What will happen now? Now let me tell you, like I have already declared this info method in the case of what? In the case of bank application also. And now I'm writing the one more times info method even after inheritance. What will happen now? Now this info method which I have written inside the child class will override the info method of parent class. Now you can easily understand parent class is what? Bank application. Bank customer is what? Child class now. So this child class, what are the info method I have written right now, is going to override the parent class info method now. So we want to test it now. Let us test it. How does it override? So obviously C info will not work here now. Only info will work. And I have to just pass the parameter as a Surendra here. And I'll just test it without writing much code now. So what you see here, it has already overridden. Previously, when we were calling the info method, we are getting all the bank related information like bank name, branch name, and the city. But now after overriding, what happened? I'm able to see only the info of customer, but not able to see the info of bank. So bank info is invisible to us now. And this is what happened in the overriding case. Even you can observe here now. Here, look at the previous code now. Info method here, I don't have any parameter. Here I wrote a parameter. It should have overload, right? In the Java, it can overload and it can differentiate between the method. But that's not happening in the Python. Whether you write one parameter or 10 parameters doesn't matter. Once you write the same method name, it will always override here. And this is what happened in the Python. So in the Python, remember, there's always overriding. No overloading there. There's no overloading in the Python. That you have to remember. So here, whenever you write the same method name, it is always overriding. So here I'm writing the certain comment to you that overriding info method. Info method of what? Your bank app now, which is the parent class. So, okay, now, okay, we have done that part. Now what? If I override, can I access now my parent method? Can I access my parent info method? Whether I can access it or not? If I can access, then how to access it? Let us learn this now. Python is giving you a solution. It's not like, okay, you cannot, it's not like you cannot override. See, after overriding, you should know like how to even access it now. Yes, there's a solution. Although you override, still you can access your parent info method by calling it manually. Now here you need to call it manually. By default, it accesses the local method. These are ORM, object relational mappers. In this case, there is a overriding, there's a how the mapping is there between the object and these are concepts are there in the data also. But then here I'm just showing you the simple thing that is like how you can access the parent info method now. So for that, I need to use class name as a simple way. I'll be showing the simple way. Bank app. Now bank app is what? Bank app is your parent class name. Using the parent class name, I will access the parent method only now. See what happened. So I'm just saying bank app and saying the info and self, because I think that's the only parameters which are there, right? So only first parameter self is there. Let us test it. What happened? Great. Very simple. Now I have my own info attributes, which is the customer attribute which is there, and also I'm able to access the parent attribute also. That's great. So don't require to write much code. Just I wrote one line and I can access both the info method now. One, the parent info method, and one which I returned just now in the child class now. So very simple, and this is one of the way, but the other way also I'll tell you like what else are the way you can access your parent info method now. The other way is super, using the super keyword. So I will try without writing much. I'll just use a super method now. One of the ways just write a super and see what happens if I write a super. I'm not writing the method name also. I'm not writing anything. Does it work? No, it's not working, right? So what should I do now? Super dot something info. And let us test it now. Is it working? Yes, great. I'm able to access the method using the super, which is a built-in function in the Python, and using that function, I'm able to access info method of my parent class. So this is what interesting part in the Python. You can also use a super method by which you can access the parent class attribute also. So this was about to understand overriding and then understand how you can access the parent class method here. I hope you guys understood like the concept part here as well as the practical part, and definitely you will require to explore more after my session, and I will request you to watch this video again and again and see like how you can do it. And you can try your own class, write your own class, like maybe the car application you develop or book application or library application. So there are several assignments which you can do it if you understand this particular concept part only. Guys who are in the first year of MCA or second year or final year, all of you guys can practice this part. It is all practice. You have to just continuously practice, write the class name, write the methods, see how does it work it. So I hope you are getting, because it's like what you are saying is like easy, but let me tell you, when you will try your code, you will see like kind of error it comes. It comes like even just by if you miss even a colon, or if you miss a space here and there in the Python case, you get error also. So practice is very important in the Python case. You can learn Python only and only by practice. More you practice, more the comfort level will be there for the Python case. So this was about like how you can do the polymorphism here. The next part, before I start the next part, I would like to take a break of 2 minutes only, not more than 2 minutes. And after the 2 minutes, we'll continue with the very interesting point, because this 2 minutes is for everyone to take the break and then come back again. Don't log out. And then in the break, what I will do, after the break, I will say like after the break, I'll show you something more advanced feature of the object-oriented programming here. And that is, how do you declare some data as a private data, and what is private means in the Python case. And then like I also understand the concept of encapsulation also. Some theory part also I will try to cover in the case of encapsulation, or how you declare as a data as a private in the case of Python. So stay tuned with this particular session. Just a 2-minute break here now. I request all of you to please subscribe this channel so that you'll get all the update. If you subscribe this channel, you'll get the update about the next workshop also. And please like it if you understood all the concept, and share to all of your friends. I'm trying to share all the skills, knowledge to everyone, and this is what the benefit I want to share to everyone now. Please share all these videos to all your friends. Okay, so here we are again continuing the session with an advanced feature, more advanced feature now. So this time what we are going to cover, we are going to continue our application development, and our goal is clear that we like to develop the bank application now. We have seen how to write our base class, or you can say parent class, and the child class now, that is a bank customer. Also, you must have understood how to override now. And even after overriding, how you can access your parent class method, that also you must have seen now. Now, something interesting, because and something which is very abstract, is something which is not available easily, and that is, what is that private data means here? What is the protected data means in the Python? And how do you define the public data? Do we have, because we don't have keyword like public, private, and protected, but can we hide some data? Is there any way by which you can make some data hidden to other object? Can we even think about like how you can stop overriding some method? Can we make something like do we have design like by which we can avoid the overriding of some method? Is it possible? Or some data attribute, can you avoid the overriding of some data attribute? The answer is yes, but not by writing the keyword like private or public. There's no keyword like private, public, and protected in the Python case. Then how you can define some data as a private data and some data as a public data? That I'm going to show you with a demonstration now. So here we have already written the a simple class, the bank class. Now same example I will continue to just make you understand first that how do you declare and I'm writing in the new cell so that we don't want to hide any, we don't want to override the existing code now, because here I'm going to write a new code and there I'm going to override by modifying some data. So let us modify some data. The first thing is I would like to modify this IFSC code now. This I will make it private. What I did now here, do you know? I'm just saying that IFS is a private data, which previously it was a class variable, and this class variable I'm trying to make it private. But how I'm saying it's a private now? So if it is a private means it won't be easily accessible to the object, right? So that is one thing which we are clear. So let us see like what happen if you define some attribute, and one of the attribute I have chosen here is a IFSC now. What happened? So let me even write the object of this. So the object which I already defined previously, and that is a bank object. So let us have one object only. Let us create one object of this and see what happened. And let us test one by one. No need to define all the attribute at one time. What happened if I just wrote here double underscore in the beginning, and see what happened to IFSC now. Okay, so one by one, and I'll modify the code accordingly then. Firstly, I'm not able to see the attribute IFSC because I mentioned this as a double underscore. So IFSC is not available. Then what should I do now? I can now use a double underscore in the beginning, because here I should be calling by the bank app, which is our class name. So with the help of that, yes, I should be able to write. And here also I should write a double underscore in the beginning. So private data means it's okay, like it is not accessible outside the class, but it should be accessible to inside the class, right? That is what the private data should be. So let us see and how does it work. We are going to check it now. It is accessible or not. Oh, great. See, obviously, like the declaration is saying that IFSC I'm able to access from the inside the class now, inside the method, I'm able to access it also now. Now test using the object, can I access the IFSC? Previously, I was able to access, right? So let us test now, can I access it now using the SDFC object, this double underscore IFSC, and what that's what attribute, right? IFSC, and let us print it now. See what happened. Oh, it's saying that bank app object has no attribute IFSC here. So remember, when you declare the attribute like double underscore in the beginning, IFSC, so that is invisible now. By default, it is invisible to the object also. And you're not able to override that particular attribute now. Once you declare double underscore in the beginning of certain attribute, maybe now right now I use a class attribute here. You may have data attribute, any attribute you try it and see what happened after that. So this is the way you can, hide this data here. Remember the way you can hide data, right? So now let us see something secret about Python now. I have said like, okay, like this particular attribute is not available to the object, but why it is not available? Can we make it available to the object? Let us go into deep of this particular object now. I'm going to show you the various attribute of this for that. So let me show you the dir of SDFC and what happened in the dir of SDFC. Here, okay, sorry, IFSC is said there is a bank app has no attribute IFSC. I will first of all comment this section now. And I'm trying the SDFC as a dir. Right, let us do that part now. Okay, so what I did here, I wrote IFSC here, and then I'm just trying to see the attribute which are associated with a SDFC. So what should we do now? Can you observe something interesting here? That the first attribute is already modified now. As you wrote double underscore IFSC, now that attribute is name is single underscore bank app double underscore IFSC. This is what happening now. Whenever you declare some attribute as a double underscore in the beginning, in that case, it is getting modified, right? So this is what the secret thing happening inside the class. And as a result, let me tell you the secret thing that with the help of this SDFC, I can now access it by using the same thing, the bank app and then double underscore IFSC. This is what the modified thing. So let me print it now. Wonderful. This was the secret, right? The secret was like it got modified internally to protect that particular attribute. And this is what the private means in the Python. Let me tell you, the private in the Python and private in the case of other languages, there's a huge difference. So here by default, Python say that I have made the open source language, which is for everyone. Then why to declare some attribute as a private and some attribute as a public and some attribute as a protected? So Python is so, like open source and open, you can say the language is so easy and for everyone, it is, open for everyone, use it. Okay, so we are not more, language is not telling you to make some data as a private, only when you really want to avoid certain things as an attribute to, stop overriding certain attribute. You don't want some accidental changes should happen to certain attribute, then only you declare as a double underscore. Otherwise, you will not see in the code anywhere in the application that we are using some such kind of attribute like double underscore in the beginning. Very rare case we are using such attribute now. But yes, let me know it is possible. it is possible in the Python to write some attribute with a single underscore. Single underscore in the Python, we say here it is a protected. But then here protected and public, you won't see much difference here. It's just like, you don't want to write, those, you just want to protect certain attribute in by just changing, by putting some underscore in the beginning. That way you are protecting data. But again, in Python case, mostly the data is available to all as per the object variable or class variable. That is the way only data is available. The significance of declaring double underscore in the beginning is you can simply avoid overriding. How? Let us see. Now you wrote this info method now in this case. Now let me try to show the example of overriding this info method. Now this one, this I wrote it, right? In this case, I will do what? Now I will make this info as a double underscore in the beginning. Info as a double underscore in the beginning. And here also, okay, now here I will just remove this part, or I'll just comment this part. Let us comment this part, right? And just try to, okay, here I'm writing the double underscore now. What happened? I am writing the same method name. So what should happen now? It should overwrite, right? Like when I'm writing the same method name, it should overwrite. That's what the Python says. But let us test now what happened. Okay, let me call this also. Firstly, I'll get an error that I don't know what the info is, right? But then if I want to access it, like how we are going to access it. For that, let me show you the dir of customer 1, and just let me comment this section. See the modification. What happened now? Something interesting you can observe. Bank app IFSC code, it got modified. Bank customer info. Now you can see it got one more attribute called bank customer info. This is a new attribute. Observe this attribute now. There's a info attribute which is the bank. So let us, okay, let me like both the code should be tested. Here I need to modify this also. This also, as well as this one also. Then only I will able to see the differences. Yeah, now you can see both. So now one more attribute, because previous code I did not run it. That's why this was not reflected. Here you can see there are 2 attributes now instead of 1 attribute. One is the bank info and another is bank customer info. So you got 2 attribute automatically with the name of the class now. So now this is the attribute belong to the parent class, and this is the attribute belong to the child class now. Automatically it is done. You did not write any code for that. This is what the automation, everything is automatic here. There are a lot of things what we see in the Python case is magic. Why? A lot of things happening internally. We are not even aware like how the things are happening. And that's why it is called as this language is a high level language. When you say high level language, we don't go into detail like how the things are, how the memory is allocated, how the memories, how the peripherals are working in the hardware part. We are not checking anything which is there, which is the internal related to the memory references and all those things. It's all automatic here. You just simply say whatever you want to do it now. You can see now how the things are there. Now you can try to access the info method of both. Now you'll get the access to. You don't require to call this also. Let me tell you, this is not needed. Even you don't write it, this will get, you'll get access to both the info method now. How? Let us write it for the customer one also, but you have to say now single underscore in the beginning. So for this, for getting the information of bank, you have to write this way. So single underscore, and then for getting the access to the customer, you will require to have another info. This is the way you have to access now. Customer one, by the same object, I'm able to access both now. Customer one, bank customer info. And here, okay, I have to check the parameter also. For the bank app, I think we don't have any parameter, but for the customer, yes, we have. So that's why we will require to modify the parameter case here now. So here there's no parameter, but here there's a parameter. Otherwise, you'll get the error here itself. Right? So let us see how does it work. And again, I will comment this section now, this one dir portion, and test it now. Great. So now you can see in this particular code, I have just commented this section and I am able to access both the info method. One which is defined in the bank application and one which is there written just now in the bank customer. So this way, what the benefit here is, like you do not require to worry about overriding now. Even you have multiple inheritors in this case, having a multiple base classes and all, you don't require to worry about the inheritance part here now, because all this is done automatically by, because you wrote a double underscore in case you want that some attributes should not get overridden. Use this particular magic. I will say this is magic, making some attribute private and not giving the permission to access to easily to any other class. Just make it double underscore in the beginning. That's it. And this you can do it for any attribute, maybe for the class variable, object variable, or local variable, whichever variable you would like to make it. Just write double underscore in the beginning. I hope you understand like how you can declare data as a private in the case of Python now. Now I would like to show you, like, finally, if you have the knowledge about object-oriented programming and now you like to develop the complete application, how you can develop the complete application. I'll show one demo here so that you understand that this is the way you can continue this, writing the other classes also, like employee class. You can also have some other subclasses like a hierarchical interest. You can do it. That is a saving account class or current account class. So multiple thing can be done. Even like you can have the one more class like saving account or current account, and then you can make a subclass of the customer or subclass of the employee. So this way you can continue writing the other classes and try to access the parent data whichever is already there. So I'll show one of the demo here. I have several example, but I would like to check whichever is easily available now. Show like how you can develop your the application by writing the menu now. So there are several examples which I developed, but I thought like to show some example which previously I developed, but now I'll show like directly writing the menu here. So how do you write a menu here? For that, you can just say the menu as a just a variable now. Let me clear the screen now by simply okay. So how to write a menu? Simply say menu equal to triple quote string now, and just imagine you like to call the bank info now. So how to call the bank info? So I'll just say the if you say the one, you are going to say bank info now, bank information. Okay. If you say the two, you can say I want customer info, customer information. And like that, you like to do something other, like let's say you would like to have a you like to add some data into it, or let's say you want to create the current account, saving account, or something else. You like to exit. I'm just adding the three menu here. Let's say exit. You can say three. So just adding a small piece of code so that you can also try it out. Now this menu, I will call it in the menu program here. So how to write now, how to call this and where to call it. So here I'm writing the condition now, while true. In this case, just try to access this particular bank data now. So let us create an object also. The object is something which we already have. Let me take the example which we already just now we wrote it, right? I will use the same example which we wrote it now. That is related to the bank here. We have this, but I'll just combine everything now together. So let us have the first code which we wrote it as this one. This entire thing I'll develop as an application now. So this one, the entire code, I'll just combine together and make it as an application. So this will become our the complete you can maybe you can say a sub application itself. And here I'm going to add the customer also now. Customer is already there, so I already wrote it previously. So where is the customer now? Customer is wrote here, bank customer, right? This is what we wrote it. So this I will continue here, and let me write this. Okay, sorry, by mistake. Okay, so now here there's a one more method was written previously prior to this. This was there, right? This one, bank customer. So let us have this all the code together now. So you have bank customer and you have bank app now. Both the things are there. Now here we will try to, okay, this is executable. I just copy pasted and I will save this as a bank application now. So this I will be saving also, and this is running, right? So let me now save this as a model. This I will save as a model now. Percentage, write file, and say this is a like a okay, write file, and just give the name of the application or the module here as a bank app mod.py. So I can write whatever the name I want right now. So I'm just saying bank app mod.py now. So this mod.py will become the model, and we are going to now just save this. So this is like writing the bank model. Now try to import it. Import this bank app mode. What happened? Yes, it's executing now, right? So now this particular code has become the model, but I don't want this particular code to execute while I import. So what should I do now? I should write certain condition now. So here I'm writing the condition. If double underscore name is equal to double underscore main. So what is this main now, and what is this name now? Name is a variable, which is a built-in variable, and main is a program. Your model become program itself. So that's what even I wrote it here also. Name is equal to logical equal to main here. So this is like I'm writing that this particular code should be executed only with the condition. So now here I'm just writing this condition, right? And what happened after that? I'm just overriding this program and importing now. So this time you can see this bank app mode is not executed after importing. But what you can see, what this bank app model include now, you can check it by dir bank app mode. This include all the attributes which we already declared in this particular model now. This model include bank app and the bank customer also. So it has a two classes. Bank app is one of the class, which is we know like it's a super class right now or parent class, and bank customer is a child class. And there are some other attribute also available now. Now along with this, what I'm doing now, can we write one menu also? So here I'm writing the menu. So this is just like a calling the certain attribute here. So can we do that part? Can we write some if condition here? Like if there is something like input is something like maybe 1, then what it should do? What if input is 2, what it should do? All this can be done with the help of menu program. I hope this is clear to you. All of you are getting how I'm done now? And also check the help of your model now. Check the help of your models. This bank mode, just check the help here. See what happened. You can see all the thing whatever you declare. And you can see MRO, that is method resolution order. So MRO is having the bank customer as a what? As a the class which is there, which is called the subclass. Subclass of what? Subclass of bank application, and bank application is a subclass of object. So let me know whichever the class you write here, all these class are what? They are inherited from the super parent class, or you can say super class, and that is an object class itself. And that's why you have some other attribute also, that is like a double underscore in the DICT, double underscore weak reference. All these are already there. They are already defined. And that's why in the Python case, even the class is considered as an object. I hope it is clear how it is working now and how the document is created. Now, next thing is go ahead with some writing some menu also. So how do you write a menu here? You can write a menu by simply writing the triple quote string. Just now I wrote it now. and write a if-elif statement. So how I write a if-elif statement? If so for that we have to say like there's an input statement. So let us say there is a OP is equal to int of input and just say enter enter, let's say uh, your choice. So what will happen in this case? If you just say OP equal to enter choice and just try to give the choice here and print here also, right now I'm just printing it. What will happen in this case? It is expecting that you enter some integer value, I say 1, then it is going to print it now. Now can we use this variable for writing the condition? If OP logical equal to, let's say 1, then what it should happen? It should print which one? There is a something I already wrote to the menu now. Let me call that here, right? Just putting this part before I write a while and all. I'm just writing the simple one first, and then we can go ahead with writing the while loop also. So this is what the menu we wrote it, simple one. And now here I'm saying print what? The bank information. So this is the one way, and then you can say the break statement in that's your choice now. Elif is for what? Writing another condition. If the first condition false, then let's say OP is logical equal to 2. Then what should you write now? Customer information. Print customer information. And you can have the customer method also, you can call it then, and then break again. Now third thing is, let's say there is a exit, that's let's say there's no like that, you can write many more elif statement. If not, then else part you can say print you can say enter some other choice maybe, or you can, if you want to exit, you can say elif again, and then lastly you can say else part. Okay, let me write one more elif. Let's say OP is something like for let's say 3 here. Yeah, we have given the choice here 3. Then thanks for visiting. This is something like you are saying to the customer, and then you are saying the break here, and lastly else part. Else part will say the default choice, and you say that enter above choice only. I wanted to show you like how you can write a menu-driven program, and it's very much clear from this now. Here you can think about putting the while loop now. Everything I'm putting in the while loop now, because break is declared only for the while, not for the heap. So I'm just putting the while loop here, and again, like it is like your choice based on your requirement, you can put the break here. So everything should be indented now. Enter about choice only, or you can mention also like which choice, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, right? And then again I'm putting the break here. Let us test this code, like how does it work, and then you can try to execute this script by calling the object also. So this is, I'm making it separately. Now by default it has come because we did not even given the choice here, so we have to take the choice, right? From where we have to take it? From this code, right? Enter your choice. From where you have to say enter your choice now? Here, right? So you are going to say enter your choice. From where you are going to enter the choice, you are going to print it also. So print menu, which we just wrote it now. From there you are going to enter the choice. Let us now execute one more time. See what happened. It is saying that bank information, customer information, and exit. If we say 1, it is going to say bank information. Now I just want to remove this break. What happened? It will continue. If I want to go for the next choice also, let me put it as a continue. If I don't use a break, it is going to be continue now. So here also I'll continue. See what happened now. Now I'm seeing the one. It's going for the bank information. Then it's saying enter the second choice, right? And the third is to exit. This is the way you can write your menu-driven program. Now, what is you can do it? You can try to call that method also, which we already written for the bank information, and just try to complete this particular bank application. So this is what the assignment for all of you guys, that write the combine this entire code, whatever I wrote as a menu code, plus this particular code which I written out, and develop your application. Now you can call this, what you can see, the customer info or bank info by this method. Now this is what the way you can develop your own application as a menu driven application. I hope you guys must have understood like how to write your menu in the case of Python, because we don't use a switch and case statement here. We are using only if and elif block only, and you can have multiple elif block. And here you can now call the whichever the method you want to call, whether like the bank information. So you can call the specific object or the method, and you can get the bank info here. Okay, so now here I'm going to, because now we have some short of time. So here I'm going to just tell you like whatever we have done as a in our workshop today. So today we try to cover the detail about object-oriented programming with a hands-on session. The objective was to give the hands-on session and understand how you can develop the bank application using the object-oriented programming. And I hope you must have understood the concept part with hands-on now. Yes, theory is there. You can watch my other video, the previous video. I have already covered some theory part of the even object-oriented programming, as well as file handling and exception handling. I will request to all of you to go to my previous video where I already shown like how to even write a file handling, exception handling. But those guys who like to know quickly about the file handling, I can just show you the small demo for that. And that is like, like for example, exception handling and file handling. Okay, file handling, one example here, where I'll be telling like how to create a file and how to access the file now. I will use a with block here, with file, with open. You can just write a file name here. Let's say maybe the bank example, or you can say bank file.txt, and you can give the permission right here as let's say F, and then I will just try to write some data into it. So how to write it then? F dot write. So here I'm going to write some data. This is a bank file. Now let me tell you, with this statement, I have opened the file and I read in the write mode, and also try to write something into the file itself. That is the bank file.txt which I'm creating. Now I can read the data also by just and closing automatically, because I'm using the with block now. So here I can do what? I can just simply, there's something missing, I guess. Anyhow, so that I can check it. Here I will just remove this now and try to read this file now. So how to read this? For that, I will just say print f dot read, and let us test it now. What happened? Yeah. Okay, so let us test it. You can see whatever the data which I have added in the file, I'm able to read also. So this is the way you can continue writing the file handling program with a various permission. Like I use a with block here. This way you can. It's very simple. File handling is very simple in the Python case, as well as the accession handling is very simple in the Python case. For accession handling, you need to use a try block. You just need to say like something whichever you're expecting, like int. Let's say you have some data, and you are trying something like a int of input, enter some data, and here you're trying something like print data. Okay, I'll do what here. There's a chances like you may give some other data like other than integer, you may give some string data. Then you can handle the exception by except block here, and you can say except, and you may use the superclass or give the exception name like value error, and you can also write as some what are the error you would like to write it, and print your value error, enter, or you can just say here your own thing like enter integer data only, data only. So in the other languages, like you write a try, there you write a catch, here we write an except block to for handling the exception here. And then in case there is no exception, you can write an else block also, and you can print the data here. Then your data is percentage %s, and print your you can say the what is the data it is. So let us try it. Let us try something like hello, and it said that enter integer data only. If you want to print what exactly exception is, you can say comma e here. In case you want to run with multiple times, you can put the while block here. So this is a quick detail about this. Otherwise, I will request you to go to my previous workshop, and there you will see all these details are already there with how to write a file handling, accession handling, and then you will have more understanding. This is just to give the a demo for it. So now I'm saying the hello. It says that enter integer data only. But if I see the numeric value, it is going to accept now. So this is what the way you can handle the accession. Guys, I try to cover maximum thing in a short duration. You must have seen like I try to cover the complete bank application also, and try to give the more hands-on today in this particular session. I hope you must have liked this session, and you will definitely practice this session after this particular session, because I'll be sharing this video also. Please subscribe this video so that you can have more access to the our advanced content. Like I'll be covering the topic like data science, machine learning, Django in our next workshop. So thank you very much for joining this. I'll be concluding here with whatever the topic we have covered. I'll be just concluding with that only.
Thank you, Surendra sir.
Yeah. Okay. So
Hello.
I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Great.
So,
So
sir, there is one student who would like to give the vote of thanks, who would like to propose. So,
great.
may I call Deep?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Deep.
Yes, sir. I'll surely provide my vote of thanks. Honorable